Hey everyone, welcome back to Gastromania. Today, we'll be sharing a classic dish found in many Chinese restaurants and Tze Char stores in Singapore and Malaysia,排骨王or pork ribs king. This dish is made of juicy pork cutlets with a tart and sweet sauce that makes it perfect to go with rice. Without further ado, let's get right into this recipe. We can begin with the main ingredient, pork loins. You can buy them cut from the butcher like this. I have about 4 pieces or about 400 grams. Some people prefer pork chops or cuts with bones inside. It's perfectly fine. Let's prepare the pork as we have to marinate it for a few hours. First, we'll have to tenderize the meat with a tool like this. This will make the meat much more tender and allow the marinade to enter quicker. If the pieces are too large like mine, cut them into smaller pieces. And if you don't have a meat tenderizer, you can just use the back of the knife to heat the meat. For the seasoning, you will need the following: 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, ½ teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, ½ teaspoon of 5 spice powder. Mix everything well first. Then add a dash of white pepper powder. Add 1 egg into the pork. This will help the coating stick later on. Alternatively, you can marinate first and add this egg later before frying. Mix everything evenly. Then add about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. This will help to retain moisture later when frying to keep the pork cutlets juicy. Cover the pork with a cling wrap and then refrigerate for at least 2 hours to let the flavors enter the pork. The longer the better, but if you're doing that, only add the egg at the end before frying. For other ingredients, we have white sesame seeds, about 4 grams of it. And afterwards, we have the sauce mixture. The key ingredient here is A1 sauce. It's a western sauce that has a very tart and sour taste. We will need about 1 tablespoon of it. 1 tablespoon of tomato ketchup. ½ tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. 1 tablespoon of plum sauce. About ½ tablespoon of sugar. ½ teaspoon of 5 spice powder. And about 1 to 2 tablespoons of water to allow everything to mix evenly. Taste the sauce to make sure that it's to your liking. I'm adding more A1 sauce because I like my sauce more sour. After the pork has been marinated for at least 2 hours, take it out and it's time to make the coating. We will use sweet potato starch as the coating is the crispiest. Make sure to coat both sides and make sure that it's as even as possible. Depending on how you like the thickness of the batter, you can adjust how much to coat the pork with. And with that, everything is prepared and let's get cooking. First, make sure that the oil is heated up at medium-high heat. Then, start to add the pork in. If your wok is small, do not overcrowd it as it will lead to uneven cooking. Fry them until they become yellow and then remove it. Set them aside and heat up the oil. We will double fry later to reach the right color and texture. For the double fry, the oil temperature has to be higher than before. Put in all the pork and you should be able to hear the oil being more vigorous. Fry them until they reach a golden brown color and the pork has a crispy texture. Set them aside for later use. Next, we will toast the sesame seeds until they reach golden brown. This is for the sauce as well as for garnishing. Set them aside for later use. Lastly, it's time to make the sauce. Add in about ½ tablespoon of cooking oil. Add in 3 to 4 cloves of chopped garlic and fry them until fragrant. Once they become fragrant, add in the prepared sauce. Keep the fire at high heat, then let it reduce and thicken. Add in about half the toasted white sesame seeds. This will make the sauce fragrant. Mix it evenly and it's time for the pork to come in. Make sure that the sauce has reduced sufficiently and turn off the fire. Add in the prepared pork. Toss the wok to make sure that the sauce coats the pork pieces evenly and it's not too wet. If not, the crispy skin will become soggy. And this dish is completed. When serving, garnish with fresh vegetables and then sprinkle with the remaining toasted white sesame seeds to give it a layer of fragrance. Doesn't this pork rib skin look amazing? It's perfect to go with rice and I guarantee that your guests will come back for more. Try this recipe today. And we have come to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this video, do support us by hitting the like button. Subscribe to our channel for more weekly recipes like this. And I'll catch you on my next video.